Hello and welcome. We are here today in the suburbs of Buckinghamshire where we have installed two systems for two neighbours in the same road who have made the smart decision to have solar and battery storage. Now, one has a Tesla Powerwall 2, the other had a Tesla Powerwall 3. So, what a perfect opportunity to put those two systems head to head and see, is Tesla Powerwall 3 really any better than Powerwall 2? Let's have a look. So we just arrived at customer one property, head of a long walk. So what does this customer have? We've got 28 ICO 460 panels, we've got bird protection, we're using multiple orientations, we've upgraded a feed-in tariff system, we've got obviously our Tesla Powerwall 2, we've got AC microinverters, so Enphase microinverters on the panel. So a big part of the decision with the customer was about the safety element, and having high voltage DC was not an option, so hence the microinverter option. There is also a shading factor we had to consider. As you can see, there is a large tree at the front of the property, but as we decided to install Enphase microinverters, each solar panel works on a per panel basis, meaning that one shaded panel won't drag down the performance of the string. So come and take a look, I'll show you around. Ta-da! So here's our Tesla Powerwall 2. Okay, so Tesla Powerwall 2. Tesla Powerwall 2 was actually released in 2017, so it's 8 years old. And when we was designing this project, it was right at the early stage when Tesla released the announcement of the Powerwall 3. The Powerwall 2, as we know, is an AC coupled battery. So what does that mean? So an AC coupled battery means it needs an additional inverter to convert the panel DC, as well as obviously this battery, which is converting the battery DC to AC. So it's slightly less efficient because you get a loss in efficiency where the battery is having to convert AC to DC to AC, but it gives us the ability to work with a third-party PV brand. For example, here we're using Enphase microinverters. As I said, one of the big things was about the safety for the customer, so microinverters was like one of the leading topics when we was designing it. And then the Powerwall 2 kind of just fitted really well as like a really good AC coupled battery solution, where the Tesla Powerwall 2 was really popular anyway. So that working alongside Enphase, I think, was a really good coupling. And it's kind of always been that way. Like, we've done a lot of projects with the microinverters and the Powerwall 2. We could have waited and had the Powerwall 3. That was a conversation that we had, but we would have been spending potentially £1,500 more and waiting for the Powerwall 3. We wouldn't have really seen any true benefit to that, because the Powerwall 2 is £1,500 cheaper. We don't need the PV inverter in the Powerwall 3, which is one of the biggest points, or the biggest changes between the 2 and the 3. So it works perfectly as we've designed it. Okay, so the Tesla Powerwall 2 has a round trip efficiency of 90%, which is less than the Powerwall 3. It has a 13.5 kilowatt hour storage capacity, which is the same as the Powerwall 3, which is a usable storage capacity, so fully usable. It has a discharge of 5 kilowatt, but it can peak at 7 in off-grid. A common question we get asked all the time is if the Tesla Powerwall can be installed outside, and the answer is yes. Both Powerwalls can operate comfortably between -20 degrees to 50 degrees. It has a IP67 rating, so it's indoor and outdoor use, the best sort of IP rating you can have, same as the Powerwall 3. And it is scalable up to 10 units, so you can have 135 kilowatt hour of storage capacity. So it's actually bigger than the Powerwall 3. What else? It also had a 10-year warranty, same as the Powerwall 3. So where can I buy a Tesla Powerwall 2? So in the UK, they're starting to discontinue. So you will struggle to get a Powerwall 2. You can still get them, they are out there. If you want to get in touch with us, we can source some, hopefully by the time that you reach out. But there are still some available. Tesla still are promoting them on their website, which would indicate that the whole time that they do that, that they'll still have some line around the world to be able to supply. If you are looking to potentially upgrade your existing Powerwall 2, then now, I mean, I would really jump on that quickly and ask around if you wasn't already aware. The Powerwall 2 and the Powerwall 3 are not cross-compatible. There's no backwards compatibility, so even more reason to try and find a Powerwall 2 quickly. So the main benefit of the Powerwall 2 is that it can work also with other technology. So in this case, we're using the Enphase microinverter. So, you know, where would you use a Powerwall 2 in that exact scenario? So just like here, where we've got panels where we want to use the Enphase microinverters, we don't need the DC side, you know, the solar panel inverter side of the Powerwall 3. So the Powerwall 2 fitted perfectly into the system. We're still getting all of those benefits of the microinverters where we can generate at modular level. We've got all of the data coming in from Enphase and all of the benefits of Enphase. So we've installed the Enphase IQ7 Plus and IQ7A microinverters on this project. As I said, the customer's main concern was safety. In terms of safety, you can't get much better than a microinverter. This is because Enphase Systems converts DC to AC at each panel, meaning there's no high voltage DC runs across the roof or inside the home. So this is a much lower risk for arc faults, electrical fires and shock hazards. Plus there's built-in rapid shutdown. You can also access per panel data showing full transparency, which is great for troubleshooting, and they come with a warranty up to 25 years. And we're getting all of the benefits of Tesla coupled with that. So perfect. We haven't interfered with the feed-in tariff. We've got a big 13.5 kilowatt storage capacity. We've got all of the clout that the Tesla brand offers. So what do we think of the aesthetics of the Powerwall 2? So I personally prefer the look of this. I think obviously you can see it's a lot slimmer. I prefer the logo branding on the front. I just think it looks nicer, to be honest with you. We've got the light on the side. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but that green LED, which is showing the SOC, the state of charge of the battery. But I just think it's a better looking battery than the Powerwall 3, to be honest with you. I prefer this design. It's minimal. But yeah, let's go and have a look at the Powerwall 3. Let's see. Tesla. So this is obviously a neighbour that we've done, and we're just quoting another neighbour as well. So soon we'll have done everyone in the estate, hopefully. Okay, so we're now at property number 2, where we have installed the Tesla Powerwall 3. So the spec of the system is the customer already had a feed-in tariff system that he had installed maybe 10 years ago. We've since upgraded that. We've got 36 ICO 460 watt panels. We've got obviously our Tesla Powerwall 3. We've got a new string inverter serving the feed-in tariff. We've got a Zappy car charger. We've got an Eddy doing the hot water. So let's go and have a look at it all. So, here is our Zappy, untethered, 7 kilowatt single phase Zappy. That is taking power from the sun, using surplus energy to power the car. It also integrates with all the intelligent tariffs and works all autonomously with the Eddy. And we have our masterpiece, ta-da! Okay, so let's talk about some of the products. So, right, the customer had an existing feed-in tariff, so he already had a system. Now, there's parameters that we have to work to when we're upgrading a feed-in tariff system. We can't increase the size of the inverter. It has to stay at the radial circuit. So, for example, we have a 3.6 kilowatt inverter. This is a grow watt inverter. We have upgraded that from his original inverter, but kept the size of the inverter the same, the output of the inverter the same. And that runs as a radial circuit. So from, I think we've got 10 460 watt ICOs on that 3.68 inverter, which is serving the feed-in tariff meter that he had installed, which is all registered and protected through his energy provider. That goes through isolation switch and is powered from the gateway, inside the gateway. We also have, well, the star of the show, the Tesla Powerwall 3. So what do we know about the Tesla Powerwall 3? It was launched in 2024. It is a 13.5 kilowatt hour storage capacity, which is the same as the 2, so same storage size. The biggest difference between this and the Powerwall 2 would be that it had a built-in PV inverter. So what that means is, whereas this is a inverter converting the panels, the solar panels, DC power to AC, it has one of those merged into this unit. So whereas it's not just battery cells and storage, there is also an inverter built in here, which is converting both the panel power and the battery power. That's why this unit is slightly, I want to say, fatter than the Powerwall 2. So if we take a quick look at the dimensions, you can see that the Powerwall 2 is 16 kilograms lighter and more or less 5 centimeters slimmer, which makes a big difference in terms of installation. So weight, this is 130 kilograms, which there's no handles on this. There's no way of easily installing it. It can be installed floor mounted and wall mounted. So what that means is it has feet on the bottom which will sit on the floor, but generally speaking, it needs to be braced to a solid surface as well. And so typically you'll always need this to go against a solid wall. So it has a 20 kilowatt peak input, DC input, with the ability to have 3 inputs, so 3 MPPT trackers, which means that we can have 3 inputs from 3 different orientations, which are a voltage range of 60 to 480 volts. It has the inverter, which can be set on commissioning to whatever size you would like it to be set at, normally governed by the DNO. That can be anywhere from a 3.68 to a 5, to a 6, to a 7, to an 8, to a 9, to a 10, and to an 11, which is the top capacity of the inverter. So the Tesla Powerwall 3 is a DC coupled solution. As the Powerwall 3 includes an integrated hybrid inverter, the power generated by the solar panels in direct current can be stored within the battery as DC power, and the inverter then only needs to convert it to AC, alternating current, once for household use, making it more efficient. So it has a solar to home efficiency of 97.5%, and it has a solar to battery to home efficiency of 89%. So what else does it has? It has a backup gateway, which is the Gateway 2, which is the same as the Powerwall 2. So they both use the same gateway. Whilst they both use the same gateway, offering full home backup, something that is different is the initial startup surge, which is an important factor in an off-grid mode. So it has 185 amps LRA, which is locked rotor amps, whereas the Powerwall 2 has a 106 LRA. So 185 amps versus 106 on the Powerwall 3. What does it mean? Well, LRA is basically like a motor start. So whereas that huge surge of current is required to start a motor, it has the ability to deliver that in a greater amount from what the older model used to. If you was running it for like an off-grid system or in a backup mode, because obviously in the on-grid mode, you've got the support of the grid and the battery as well. So you kind of always can meet that demand or that surge, whereas in an off-grid scenario, you're reliant on the output ability of the inverter in the battery. So if you had like 3 washing machines, 2 tumble dryers and a car and all these things turned on at the same time, then that would require a more significant amount of amps, like 185, for example, which is bloody a lot. 185 amps is loads. Ridiculous amount. So with the Powerwall 3, you can have a storage capacity of 94.5 kilowatt hours, which is 7 units. That's 4 of the Powerwall 3s, and on the lead unit you can have an additional 3 of the expansion packs, which gives you the total 94.5 kilowatt hour, which is less than the Powerwall 2, but you do get more power because it's a 11 kilowatt inverter. So the charge rate on the Powerwall 3 is 5 kilowatts of continual charge. And if you have at least one expansion with that, then that will increase to 8 kilowatt. But obviously the output of the Powerwall 3 is greater because it has the 11 kilowatt inverter. We can get 11 kilowatt of discharge power. So yeah, so ignore all the bad information that you see online, because when we was researching this, there was lots of contradicting information. But it is 4 of the Powerwall 3s with a maximum of 3 expansion packs on the leader. So in terms of continuous power, if you had 4 of these Powerwall 3s, all at 11 kilowatts each of output power, that would give you 44 total continuous kilowatts of power. So one of the biggest differences is the cell technology. So the Powerwall 2 had lithium manganese cobalt, which is in partnership, or was in partnership with Panasonic, and we have now, in the Powerwall 3, transferred over to lithium iron phosphate, which has a longer life expectancy. Ultimately, it can, I think, have more throughput energy before degradation of the cells. And generally, that's kind of in line with most current batteries on the market now. So the other change as well from the 2 and the 3 was the Powerwall 2 had liquid cooling and the Powerwall 3 has fan cooling, which I think comes from cell technology. The change obviously in cell technology changes the way we cool the system or the cells down. So what do we think about it aesthetically? So as we can see, this unit is slightly chunkier than the Powerwall 2. The Powerwall 2 is a lot more slimline. It has our big red DC switch on the side here. So this is controlling all of those 3 DC inputs. We do have external DC isolators as well, but on the battery itself, we've got the DC switch. On the other side, we have our rapid shutdown switch, which ultimately is a on and off switch for the system. We also have a couple of built-in safety features like ground fault protection, arc fault detection, and integrated protective earth impedance check. Obviously, we've got multiple inputs for our cabling. We've got our harness adapters on the side for the expansion packs. They have removed, obviously, the LED light from the Powerwall 2, which was on the side. That no longer exists now. They've swapped out the sort of solid unit, one-piece unit, for the glass front cover that we can see here, which are replaceable. You can, if you do damage this glass front cover, you can buy a replacement for that. When you are expanding, you can either go, much like the Powerwall 2, you can go side by side or you can stack out in front. So depending on the floor plan and space you're working with. So although they did remove the LED light from the side, you do get some feedback from the LED, from the logo on the front. So a solid white light means it's operating normally. A flashing white light means it's idle. And a red light obviously means there's a fault. And no light at all means it's asleep, off basically. So what is the difference really then between the Powerwall 3 and the Powerwall 2? So the Powerwall 3, we can get a lot more output power. The Powerwall 2, we get more storage capacity. The Powerwall 3 uses lithium phosphate, which is a safer and longer lasting battery technology. The Powerwall 2 is an AC coupled, whereas the Powerwall 3 is a DC coupled, so it has a hybrid PV inverter built in. Because it has built-in arc protection, it also means it doesn't really work with Tigo optimizers, so there's some limitations on roof design. So in this case, where there was shading on the first property, we wouldn't have been able to mitigate that with panel optimizers. Whereas the Powerwall 2 doesn't have any of those limitations. The Powerwall 3 is slightly bigger, slightly heavier. Personally, I prefer the look of the Powerwall 2 than I do of the Powerwall 3. It's more slimline and sleek looking. But generally speaking, if you know, the idea I think behind it is we are putting more and more demand on our electrical usage, with air source heat pumps being very common, with electric vehicles now being significantly in demand. So our usage demand is getting greater and greater, and therefore our output power and ability from our system is really important. So we're definitely getting the output ability from the Powerwall 3, very popular product, and we, to be honest, enjoy working with it. It's reliable, it never really lets us down, and although there's some controversy around Elon Musk, I think still the product is good. So obviously we are now using LFP, which is more and more in demand because we're putting more and more energy through it, which has a longer life expectancy, it's more durable, better longevity, and ultimately allows more throughput energy, so we can charge and discharge more and more throughout the course of the day without damaging the cells, which is obviously ideal for overnight tariffs and smart tariffs and grid sharing and charging and discharging to capitalise on your solar investment. Okay, so is the Powerwall 3 really any better than the Powerwall 2? I think it depends on the circumstance, to be honest. I can still see the benefits of the Powerwall 2, and equally I can see all of the new benefits of the Powerwall 3. If you've already got an existing system and you need an AC coupled, the AC coupled solution's perfect. You know, there's not massive changes. There's obviously the hybrid solution, but there's still a place for the AC coupled in my opinion. So you know, if you've already got solar, AC coupled is the way to go. Obviously, if you're a new customer, then the hybrid is the way to go. It can be set to an AC coupled, so you can still use the Powerwall 3 as an AC coupled solution, but it's more money than the Powerwall 2 was. So, you know, obviously there's more components built into it. So we think let's keep the Powerwall 2. So obviously the Powerwall 2 has the ability to work with Tigo optimizers. The Powerwall 3 doesn't have that ability, so something that you can't do with the 3. So that still leaves a place for the 2. What do you think? So write in the comments, what would you rather have? Would you rather have System 1 or System 2? And don't forget to like, subscribe and follow, and keep thinking green.